On a scale of 1 to 10, how unimpressive were Brady and the Bucs?
A 10, if that makes sense, because this was very unimpressive, Skip. This was a really bad team beating a worse team with a backup to the backup quarterback. So you got a 6-8 team that beat a 4-10 team with a backup to the backup and needing overtime to get it done. Skip, Tom Brady looks bad. I mean, there is no way around it. And I've said this before. As I started to age, I started to realize I just can't summons it up for the entirety of the game like I once could. I could have a game, Skip. I can go get you 100 yards. Or I can play really, really well for a quarter or two. But to do that over and over and repeat, I couldn't do it. And we're starting to see that with Tom Brady. Tom Brady has a couple of drives, and all you hope is his defense can hold long enough so they're in the game still, and he can put those two drives together at the end of the game like he did yesterday. Because other than that, let's DJ drop the track. I want to show some of the throws that Tom missed on. That this is routine. Now this is a touchdown. Bro, come on, Tom. This is okay. I get that. You know, you dirty that one. But look at me. Skip, what is this? He's just throwing the ball up. I hope Mike Evans is down there somewhere and make a play. I mean, that right there, I mean, that's pitch and catch right there. I mean, that's like, wow. Okay, you see here, Wilson jumps in the trail position. Why would you throw that?
I don't know.
What?
It's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, you see the guy jumps in the trail position. Anytime a guy lets the DB, the wide receiver free release, Skip, and jumps in that position, he knows he has help over the top. He's not going to let you throw anything underneath. Tom Brady threw for 281 yards. 222 of those yards came yards after the catch. It is hard to produce points when all you do is throw the ball behind, at, or near the line of scrimmage. Because you're asking your guys, the Leonard Fournette, the 40-plus yarder, Skip, he was a swing pass.
It was a screen pass.
Yes. He swung that to him. He caught it behind the line of scrimmage. He broke 3 tackles and off to the races. He went.
Agreed.
That wasn't a push the ball down the field. And when you see Tom Brady push the ball down the field, it's either picked off or it's a huge misfire. And for the third straight week, he's had at least 2 interceptions. A guy that went like 9-10 weeks and had 1 pick, now look. He's not the same quarterback. And at some point in time, we've got to say a lot of the offensive problems, it's Tom Brady's fault. We can blame the offensive line. Yeah, the offensive line is what it is. We knew they were going to be a problem anyway because so many guys are retired. They lost guys via free agency and whatever the case may be. But it's becoming more increasingly obvious to anybody that really studies the game and knows the game. Tom Brady is afraid to get hit. That's why he's getting the ball like quicker and quicker and quicker. I don't trust you guys up front that's blocking for me. I know who you are. And so I don't trust you. So the ball is coming out extra quick. If you want to produce points, Skip, you got to stand in there. And one thing Tom Brady could do, he could look down the gun barrel and not flinch. Now, if they get close, he flinches. You're not going to hit me. So with that being said, Skip, Tom can summons it up for a couple of drives a game. And if his defense is strong enough to hold on until those last 2 drives, you'll get the Saints. You'll get the Rams. You'll get the Cards. But for the most part, Skip, it's been bad. It's looked awful. And the defense, they shouldn't be patting themselves on the back either because that was Chase McSorley. Might as well have been Marty McSorley because he's bad.
He's bad. Okay, back to the question of scale of 1 to 10, how unimpressive. We're flipping around our usual question, unimpressive, because that's the only way to do this. If I could go to a 12, I would go to a 12.
That's saying something coming from you.
It is. If there's such a thing in the National Football League as a moral loss, as the opposite of moral victory, this was a moral loss for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I'm a Buck on that flight home, I'm thinking, who the hell are we and what are we doing? What has happened to our quarterback? What's happened to everything around the quarterback? Because it's just bad football everywhere you look. As you well know, in the NFL, a win is a win is a win.
Correct.
But this still felt like a moral loss because this is one where you're more discouraged than encouraged, even though you finally, ultimately, in the end, put yourself in position to go home and beat the suddenly hot Carolina Panthers. I'm going to talk about them in a few minutes.
Hopefully Steve Wilks gets some serious consideration for that job because he's done an unbelievable job.
Well, unbelievable job. I mean, he's like getting in the Coach of the Year conversation. They've won 3 out of 4, and 4 out of 6?
Yes.
They're right there.
Right there.
All they did was beat the Buccaneers 21-3 at Carolina. 21-3 at Carolina. What? So back to what happened last night. It's the first time, remember, against Cincinnati, I was clinging to the first half against Cincinnati. Brady was really good.
Right.
He was 17 of 23 for almost 200 yards against a very good defense.
Yes.
Arguably the best team in the AFC and arguably the best defense in the AFC. This was at Tampa. He looked really sharp in the first half. Then he imploded in the third quarter in ways I've never seen him implode for one quarter. And he almost had 4 turnovers in that. There was one early in the fourth, but you might as well say he had 4 turnovers in about a quarter. What? And so he comes up last night gun shy. He's feeling the heat.
Yeah.
He's feeling the pressure. He's feeling like this is what they call in baseball when a pitcher is too fine, like you're trying to just aim it. You can't aim it. So if we could see the throw to Julio, this is about as wide open as Julio has gotten all year because he's about a shell of himself.
Right.
And Brady's like, I gotta. No, you don't got to. You're going to try to place it as finely as you can. And that's a throw that Brady makes in his sleep in the good old days where you just come up and you see it, you feel it, and you throw it.
I think, and I'm not the biggest, I'm not here to try to defend Brady, but I think what he's thinking, Julio, take that to the back pylon because
I got it.
Because Brady can see what Julio can. Julio's like, I'm wide open again, but it's the 35 is going to sink on that play.
But you're overthinking it.
Yes.
You just have to put it in his hands. And by the way, he did, I didn't ask for this video, but you remember the first throw of the game was a deep throw that hit Julio right in the hands, and the kid just runs into him and interferes.
Right.
That was a nice throw, but that was maybe the best downfield throw he had all night, and it was pass interference that set up this throw right here.
Also, Skip, how much practice time are these receivers getting with Tom?
I don't know.
Because that's something, because it seems like...
Well, I don't think Julio can practice at all. Because he came in with the bad knees, had a bad wheel the whole year.
And then Mike...
And by the way, after that play, he didn't play much more until the very end of the game.
Right.
I don't know what's going on with him, okay? So there was this story that we didn't get to talk about that came out after our show on Friday. I kept saying all year, Gronk, come save your boy. And according to Rick Stroud, Gronk called the front office. I don't know if he talked to one who might have gone to the top, to the owners, but he called to say, hey, I'm interested in coming. This was in early November. I'm interested in coming back. I'm sure they went back and forth about money, which they have none left. And sort of situation. What's the situation? You got the 2 rookie tight ends. How would I fit in? Cameron Brate's still there, although he didn't contribute last night.
Otten has taken over the number 1 spot now.
He has taken it over. And for whatever reason, they could not come to terms, according to Rick Stroud, but it became a serious conversation. Well, that's a turning point in the year because now you're asking Brady to throw to a rookie tight end. And he's pretty good, but he's not this guy.
But he's going to get better, Skip. He's going to get better and better. Brady's working with him. It's not easy when you're a rookie tight end and you're playing with a historically great quarterback.
Okay. So what happens to the offensive line right out of the box? Donovan Smith cannot go. He's leading the league in penalties, and he was the one holdover from last year, except for Tristan Wirfs, who's been out for about a month. So Tristan Wirfs attempts to go last night, and if you watch closely, he is limping back to the huddle, and he's getting beaten every other play. Run plays, pass plays.
J.J. Watt was giving it to him last.
He just shouldn't be out there. And I think he was trying to die for the cause, win one for the Gipper, and so he went out and tried to play, and he was a mess. And what happens? Josh Wells is the second stringer behind Donovan Smith. He gets hurt early on. Looked like he got hurt pretty badly. I hope he's knocking on wood for him. And all of a sudden, somebody named Brandon Walton is at left tackle who is undrafted out of Florida Atlantic. Well, you know what Brady's thinking? I'm in trouble back here. I'm a sitting duck. And J.J. Watt starts lining up over there. And all of a sudden, J.J. Watt started looking like T.J. Watt, didn't he? And all of a sudden, I'm looking at, they got a bunch of other kids in there, that Cameron Thomas they drafted in the 3rd round out of San Diego State. He's just flying around like a Pro Bowler because they can all eat, because this line is a shambles now, and Brady knows it. And I believe Brady in 2020, when they went and won the championship in his first year in the pandemic in Tampa Bay, I believe his mentality was the same. I'm not going to get hit. He had a really good offensive line in 2020 that mostly protected him, except for the New Orleans got to him in that debacle game on that Sunday night. And then remember the Thursday night game up at Chicago.
Right.
Khalil got him a couple times, and I thought concussed him because he's doing his 4. He didn't even know where he was at the end of the game. So to me, his mentality hasn't changed. They just don't really protect him.
Right.
Okay? Then downfield throws. I kept looking last night for where's the deep speed? Well, Scotty Miller can run, and he tried one deep ball to him that was just off target.
Right.
But they put him in, and the defense knows what's going to happen. And what's his name? Isaiah Simmons. He ran with him. Yeah. He just ran with Scotty Miller, and Scotty Miller's not that fast. I mean, he's not Tyreek or somebody.
Yeah. But so, he's 4'3".
Okay.
But Isaiah Simmons can run too now.
Oh, can he run? and remember, they've got players on defense because the kid from Tulsa in the middle, it can really run, and then Buddha can run.
Yes.
Okay. So they have some playmakers out there, but the point is, I'm looking for who can run. Mike Evans really can't run. He's just a possession receiver. Chris Godwin is not a speed freak.
Nope.
He's just a big, strong. And now they just use him on little bubble screens and wide receiver screens and quick throws because he's stout. You know, he can still pack a punch, but he can't run by anybody.
And the ball that he threw to Godwin in the end zone, that could have easily been an interception. That's a 50-50 ball. That's not what Chris Godwin is.
I think he got frustrated. Do we have that? I know I'm jumping way ahead.
When he threw the end zone to Chris Godwin?
It's is it 2:36 left? It's 3rd and 8 at the 24. Brady finally just got sick and tired of this, and he said, well, I'm just going to try this.
Yeah.
He's not open because he can't run past the safety. And Brady just said, I'm going to throw him a 50-50 ball because it's not a terrible throw. He's got he gets up and gets his hands on it, but the safety's all over it. Okay? Well, that's just frustration on Brady's part because he's like, I don't know where else to throw it. I'm going to just try that right there and hope he can pull it out of this guy. Okay? Because that's really all you have. Okay, so what is he up against? He doesn't have any Edelman Amendola who can get loose underneath on little choice routes. And he doesn't have any, Randy Moss. There's nobody who can run by anybody. So what are they? They can't run a lick. They are dead last in rushing. They came in rushing 3.3 yards per, and last night they actually had a decent night with 3.8 yards per rush. But if we could see what happened, they get it. If we could see the 3 straight plays, this was 6:51 left in the first quarter. They get it 2nd and 1 at the 48-yard line. If we could see these 3, here's Lenny Fournette. 1, okay, that's 2nd down, 3rd down. No, didn't get there. And so they say, well, let's just do it again. Let's try it again. We'll go behind Tristan Wirfs. You just lost a yard.
Well, you couldn't go. I mean, you already know the man dealing with a high ankle sprain. So the likelihood of him being able to drive somebody off the ball, Skip.
Yeah, okay. And then the first interception you talked about, that Cameron Thomas hits Brady, and he's not going to play through this if you could see it, because he just flinches and dives sideways, and so there's nothing on that ball. It's just a floater to nobody. And also, I didn't think Mike Evans was open on this play.
No,
they're doubling him. This is
and Mike and Skip and Mike knows it. He's like, Tom ain't gonna throw me this ball. I'm double covered. I know Tom ain't gonna throw it.
No, he's not even looking for the ball. In fact, he turns around. It's like, what? There's a football?
Exactly.
And the other throw, to your point, it's the classic hole throw against cover 2 where you're trying to throw it in the hole. Well, one thing Mike Evans has, he's 6'5", so you might as well throw it up to the boundary. Just throw it up where you can catch it, and you don't even get it over the corner. And it's a bracket sort of double coverage on cover 2. And I don't know what he's doing because I'm not sure he knows what he's doing. So it was the first time I've seen Brady all year look lost. He looked like he's losing confidence.
Yeah,
he's frustrated, and he's discombobulated where he doesn't have any feel for anything that can get open. So in the end, he makes 2 big throws in overtime, but he's capable of this.
Yes.
And yet, here's my final big point about this. How did they get back in position? What have I been banging the table for over here? What do I bang the table on Twitter? Just go no huddle. So with 10 minutes left in the game, they're down 16-6, and they come out and voila, they go no huddle. And they go right down the field, boom, 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 boom. They go 67 yards in 7 plays for a touchdown. Well, now you're back at least in the game. And then they keep going no huddle, and they go down and get the tying field goal. And then in overtime, he does that. They get a player hurt, so they got their rookie 7th rounder in over there, and he just pump and goes to Russell Gage, and that's the first big play of the night. It wasn't any great throw, but he got 21, and then he made one good throw all night. It's against the blitz. It's a 2nd and 3 play at the 48. If we could,
you want to hit Mike Evans?
Yeah, this is the only good throw where I say there's Brady. That's Tom Brady. If we could see the out throw to Mike Evans. and it was for 16 yards and put them in field goal. This is the one throw. This is against a blitz, and Mike Evans saw it, got it, and that's vintage Brady. And all of a sudden, you got your field goal and you stole it.
Yep.
But impressive? I mean, they're a 5.5-point favorite over Carolina, and I don't know how. Seriously, from my heart, I don't know how, because it almost feels like it should be a pick'em game because Carolina is that good.
They're deep, and Brian Burns is like, let me see. I think I'm gonna spend a lot of my time on the right side, the offensive line's left side, because
there you go.
I like my chances over there.
I agree.
But I think he might be like, well, I can use my speed against Tristan Wirfs because he can't get out that stance with that high ankle sprain.
He cannot get out, and it looks like I'm not going to be surprised if he does not play in this Sunday's game.
No, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah. Well, you better.
It's all hands on deck.
If you lose this,
if you had clinched the division, there's a great chance he doesn't play.
Oh, well, heck yes.
But now because you win this game. Now they might win this game, and then he sit out the following week.
Yeah.
To give that ankle an opportunity to try to hit rest up.
So in the end, they are dead last in rushing. They're dead last in explosive plays because play action's a joke. You think the defense is scared of play action?
You can't run the ball, so why am I playing?
What do I care?
What am I biting on?
Okay, all right, thank you. Whew.
Guys, my crew had that Panthers game on Saturday, and let me tell you, they were clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. Record-setting day for their ground game. They're playing really well for Steve Wilkes. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.